Hey guys, welcome to a CWF special of Headlocks and Headphones, presented by yours truly, me, Mr. Murphy. Now, I first and foremost want to apologise for the lighting. Lighting in my flat isn't very good at the moment, so sending this in just as it is. I apologise if they're hard to see, but it's a Q&A session, so as long as you can hear me, that's all that really matters, I suppose. Right, so first of all, I am Stuart Murphy. I'm the owner of Caledonian Wrestling Federation. Twitter handle is at CWF Scotland, which should be below right now, either in the description box or at the bottom of the screen. My Twitter handle is at CWF Murphy Stew, again, right below, bottom of the screen, or in the description box. Before we get into the Q&A, let's just discuss a little thing. CWF, brand new company based in Glasgow. We are aiming to be different from everyone else. We have a show lined up, debut show as a matter of fact, in June the 19th of 2021 at Jordan Hill Sports Hall in Glasgow. At that show, we're going to have an 8-man tournament. Now, I have announced that I myself will be in the tournament because I feel I have to prove to everyone, the people that train me, anyone that's doubted me, I feel that I need to prove to them that I can do this, which is why I've announced myself in the tournament. Now, I've been left a note from the Headlocks and Headphones host, Bart Anderson, that says, as host, he wants me to make another announcement regarding that show. And he says, well, if you see me keep looking at my phone, he's going to message me to tell me who or what or whatever the announcement is to be. I'm not in the know here. I'm in dark as much as all of you. It's a very good question, actually. I'm a massive Edge fan. I have been since he debuted in 1998. I love Edge. And I was so happy to see him come back, him at the Rumble in the start of 2020. That happy, in fact, that I almost woke the rest of my house up by celebrating that much. It was very nostalgic, but at the same time very, very good for WWE, I think, because a character like Edge will drag your product up and up and up. There's no roof on where Edge can take you. My childhood favourites, as I say, so it's a no-brainer for me that was one of the best moments of 2020 in my eyes. I think, in regards to him returning, it was disappointing that he got injured at Backlash. I think if he hadn't got injured, we could have been on to another Edge title run, perhaps. There is no words. Again, same night as Edge's return, and it was a night that I nearly woke everyone up again. I had plans actually to be in walkabout in Glasgow to watch the Royal Rumble, and then got called into work at the last minute, so I couldn't make it. So I watched it on time delay when I got home, and absolutely incredible moment. What does it mean for British wrestling? It's on the map now, basically. Back on the map, should I say? It was put on the map with the British Bulldog and Dynamite Kid back in the day. Regal helped keep it on the map. Since then, there's been no one to really carry that mantle over in America. Drew seems to be the perfect guy to do that. British wrestling's back on the map. More importantly, as well, as Drew will continue to tell you himself, Scottish wrestling is on the map, and he's the first ever Scottish World Champion. And it's a fantastic occasion, and he just keeps going from strength to strength. Again, Drew is someone that from when he debuted I've been a big fan of, and I saw the potential in him straight from the get-go. And I am just so happy he has finally achieved his life goal, really, what he wanted to do was win the WWE title, and he has finally done that as well, which actually leads me into my next point of Drew pushing for the UK to get one of the big four pay-per-views. Now, I know which one I would rather have. I as much as WrestleMania is the big one, that's the granddaddy of them all, really. That's not what I want to see the UK get. I don't want to see the UK get WrestleMania. I would like to see the UK get SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam would be a good one for the UK to get, or even the Royal Rumble. I think if Drew is still champion, whenever the fans are allowed back in arenas and stuff, if Drew's still champion, I think you should have one of your big four pay-per-views in the home of the champion. So if it's Drew, you have the Rumble, WrestleMania, whatever you want to go for, you have it in Scotland. Now, obviously, you can't have it in Ayr, unfortunately for Drew, because there's not really many places in Ayr big enough to hold an event the size of WrestleMania or SummerSlam or the Royal Rumble or anything like that. So that could be an issue. But Glasgow, Edinburgh, certainly places like that. Hampden, Murrayfield would be great venues for it. You've also got Wembley as well. If you wanted to hold one down in England, you've got Old Trafford, Emirates Stadium, everything. All of these sort of stuff are great venues to hold wrestling events in, and hopefully they one day get one of the big four WWE pay-per-views as well. Now, Roman Reigns, I was never a fan of. Opening up front about it, I've never been a fan of Roman Reigns. Not his ability. He's got ability. He wouldn't be in the WWE if he couldn't wrestle, put it that way. More the character of Roman Reigns, to me, had been stale for years. Had been stale since he left the Shield, I think. What they have done with Roman Reigns in this year is absolutely fantastic. And I think the story with him and Jey Uso has made both of them utterly top guys. Jey has shined, really. The fact that Jey Uso wouldn't say I quit in the I Quit Hell in a Cell match just speaks volumes for the character. It's come on leaps and bounds. A bit strange, really, how someone can go from hating Roman Reigns' character to within one instant moment at SummerSlam being intrigued by Roman Reigns' character, and that was the success of the heel turn, and it was done so tremendously well. Jey Uso being in that equation as well, utterly terrific. I think the end game here is to put the Universal title on Jey Uso. I genuinely do. I don't think it's going to be at WrestleMania. I think it's set on having this Rock Roman thing going into WrestleMania, so that'll be interesting. But coming out of Mania, definitely, I think Jey Uso is going to get that Universal strap, and I think, based on what I've seen from the story so far, I think Jey Uso thoroughly deserves to be in that title conversation. Leading into the next question, this is a difficult one actually. All the April layoffs, who I think has done best. It's difficult, really. I mean, there's only two of them are really champions at the moment, and that's the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Gallows in Impact. Slater made an instant impact when he went to Impact with that promo. Hasn't really done much of note since then. Recently, just this past Wednesday night, actually, in the Brody Lee tribute show, I saw that Eric Rowan debuted in AEW. I'm intrigued to see what he does. Rusev, I think, has been badly misused in AEW. Cardona, those of you not aware of following people in the indie circuit, Zack Ryder in WWE he's not really been used much in the indie scene. AEW brought him in for a few matches, but they've not really officially signed him. I know that wasn't the April layoff, but it's still a layoff from WWE, isn't it? The April layoff, Matt Hardy. I have to say, Matt Hardy, I think, has done the best. His character work has been absolutely brilliant. The broken gimmick, I'm a massive fan of. When he done it in Impact, WWE watered it down and they had the walking gimmick, and that ruined it, I think. AEW gave him the freedom to bring the broken character back, as did his Matt Hardy brand YouTube channel. What I think AEW dropped the ball with there is they were onto a winner with the broken Matt Hardy character, and they've had him changed to be just Matt Hardy. Now that works to a degree, but it's not really what you want. It's not really going to be that entertaining, I don't think. I think for him to continue to be a success in EW, that broken gimmick is the way forward. There's no one that really has that kind of character, that kind of presence about them at the moment in AEW. Sadly, since the passing of Brody Lee on Boxing Day there, he was the only other person on that roster I could say had that presence about him that demanded respect, because they not on the same level as, but reminds you a bit of Undertaker, really. I think Brody was the one that stood out, hands and head and shoulders above everyone else. And it's sad to see that he's no longer going to be with us. I wish his family all the very best. But second to Brody Lee, I'd have to say Matt Hardy. Ratings in the product are suffering. I don't think it's due to lack of fans at all. I actually think WrestleMania this year was an absolute success, despite having no fans, because it allowed for them to do something different, like the Boneyard match. The Boneyard match was absolutely terrific. I really did enjoy the Boneyard match. I thought it was a great way to sign The Undertaker out of an illustrious career. I think ratings are going down, and it's based on something that I've read from USA Network actually saying to Vince McMahon. The product of everything is still primarily aimed at kids, which is weird when you consider the demographic that WWE and AEW are fighting over is 18 to 49. Now, if you're fighting over the 18 to 49 demographic, putting on a show catered to children, that is going to harm your chances. I think that's WWE's problem. I think with AEW, their problem is they are doing the right things to attract their 18 to 49 audience, but then you're getting strange things happening, like you're getting a world title defence on free television every other week. You're getting feuds starting and ending before they've even started, kind of thing. You have nearly 60-year-old icon in the business signed to a wrestling contract. This is a person that had to retire due to breaking their neck at SummerSlam in a match with, sorry, yeah, I think it was SummerSlam. Had to retire at SummerSlam after breaking his neck in a match against Seth Rollins. I'm talking about Sting, obviously. He's been signed to wrestle for AEW on a multi-year deal. That doesn't make sense to me, but if I focus on WWE at the moment, their storylines, I'm entertained by a few of them, but there's still a few things they could improve on. Genuinely, I feel the product is still too childish, and it does deserve to be aimed towards a more mature and adult kind of audience. What I don't want to see is a full return to the Attitude Era. I don't think that would work in 2021. But they need to be edgier, they need to be better at what they do. I know when I say edgier, I don't just mean like the New Day dropping innuendos or stuff like that. I mean properly edgier. Don't do unprotected chair shots again. We saw the result of what can happen when they go wrong with the Shawn Spears Cody Rhodes incident last year. Or by the time this goes live, it'll be 2019 now that happened. It's almost 2 years ago. I think the ratings are suffering this year primarily due to the product itself. I don't think it's the fans hurting the product. I think it's the product hurting the fans. Is what I think. I I started the year as an AEW supporter because, as I have constantly said to everyone that asks me, the reason I was an AEW supporter is I believed in giving them a chance. They'd only been around since January of 2019. They'd only had a TV show, a weekly television show, since October of 2019. Everyone deserved that chance. And to start with, I thought they were heading in the right direction. Thought they were onto something with the MGF after they beat Cody, and I believe they buried him against Moxley. They gave Hager, who was undefeated in the roster, a world title match, which he lost to Moxley. Which again has hurt his character because he was built off of being this undefeated monster and unbeatable. And then after 3 wins, he's beaten by Jon Moxley, and that made absolutely no sense to me. What I will say about AEW is their ideas that they have are something that could succeed, but at the same time, they're not executing it properly. And that's made me drift away from AEW. I'm not going to say back to WWE because I didn't stop watching WWE. At the end of the day, I'm not an AEW fan. I'm not a WWE fan. I'm a wrestling fan. There's wrestling on my TV, I watch it. I don't care if it's AEW. I don't care if it's WWE, in New Japan, Ring of Honor, Major League. I don't care. I will watch it because wrestling is wrestling. And that's the only way to be knowledgeable in wrestling as a fan, is if you watch as many different promotions as possible. I'm not just under one bracket. I'm not a one company man. I'm an industry man. I'm not impressed with what AEW has been like towards the closing stages of the year. I don't think. The thing I don't think is, I don't think Moxley was a success as champion at all. I think the title was on Moxley because it was the name value. The name value of this ex WWE champion. And I think that was probably the only reason that Moxley got that AEW World title. My opinion on the AEW Impact Wrestling crossover is I am 100% against it. The AEW roster, this is why I'm against it, right? The AEW roster, that's one bubble. The Impact roster is a separate bubble. And during a pandemic, you're taking two separate social bubbles and you're joining them together. Now, how much risk does that pose for all your talent if you've got... Because if someone in the Impact bubble catches that, now not only are the Impact roster at risk, but the AEW roster's at risk because they're joining together. The storyline for it, I 100% agree with. A crossover is a great idea. I think it's poorly timed, and it could have been put on the back burner until such a time where the pandemic was no longer an issue, or at least the issue of joining bubbles wasn't an issue. And then you could go with that storyline. I just think it's poorly placed. Great idea. I think it's a terrific idea, and more companies should do crossovers. But the timing of it is very, very poor. There's actually two products I've been watching. And although it is older stuff I've been watching, and I still have a lot of catching up to do in the more recent stuff, the two that really, really do take my liking outside of WWE and AEW has to be Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. One of my favourite Ring of Honor events was actually the Honor Rumble from a few years ago. I think it was the 2019 Honor Rumble, where you had appearances from... You had Colt Cabana in there, you had Great Muta in there, you had Jushin Thunder Liger in there, Kenny King, all sorts of names like this. You had Bullet Club in there as well at one point. New Japan, Naito was champion, is fantastic. As I say, I've still to catch up, so if I've missed him losing the title at any point, I do apologise. Wrestle Kingdom this year was by far and away probably one of the better shows I've seen in a long, long time. I do love the Wrestle Kingdom every year. It does not flatter to deceive. It is always every bit as good as what it's hyped up to be. And the matches just get better and better every year, in my opinion. Not Dave Meltzer better, where you get 7 stars out of a possible 5 stars. Sorry for the cheap dig if you're watching, Dave. But no, I wouldn't give a match 5 stars because no matter how good something is, there's always room for improvement. But yeah, New Japan, Pro Wrestling, and Ring of Honor. And close third to that would probably be MLW. Major Jacob Fatu fan, by the way. Just right. So, how excited am I to finally start CWF? Not as excited as all the fans that are going to pay to see me, to be honest. Let's not forget that on Headlocks and Headphones, the segment which has drawn the most viewers is one with my face on it. The segment that has the most reviews is the one, again, with my face on it. I am the reason Headlocks and Headphones is successful. I am the reason Headlocks and Headphones is still around. Anyone who questions that is just back. You look at all the ratings before that day that I was on my speaking out moment, where I named and shamed a company, and I've put a trainer that knows who he is on record, but for my own safety will not be named, and this is due to fear of my own safety. Therefore, I encourage the people that have been direct messaging me on Twitter to respect this decision of mine and respect the fact that I'll not be naming them. Do you think any of that would be possible? Do you think this show would be happening right now if it wasn't for CWF Sports and Headlocks and Headphones? Do you think this show would be happening right now if I hadn't done that moment and got the show its most views that it's ever had in its existence? I'm the reason for the success. I'm the reason that this show is still around. As for the 8-man tournament, I've announced myself as a competitor, as you know. Now, what you want to know is, am I worried about nepotism? Why? Why would I be worried about nepotism? Anyone that thinks I don't deserve to be in this is just added to that long list of individuals that I need to prove wrong. There is nothing I value more in this world than transparency and honesty. And honestly, when you ask me my honest opinion, I'm in this tournament on merit. But the only person that knows that. No nepotism involved. People are allowed to think what they want. Can't control what people think. But I can control what people do. So if you don't want to be in the firing line, I recommend you know your place and get in. Yes, CWF has a mole. Sorry for the pause. The mole exists in CWF. Thankfully, somebody has taken my bait. The bait I said was that all the information that was getting leaked at CWF was leaked by an American named I can tell you that's not the case. Because there is an American involved that was named and shamed and speaking out on more than one occasion, who, before the speaking out movement was a thing, CWF had reached out to do a show, has obviously been removed from our contact list altogether. But continues to message us, see if we can do shows with him, and we don't want anything to do with this person, and this person is Joey Ryan. But he's not the mole, because I don't want him involved in my company in any way, shape or form. I don't want him involved in pro wrestling in any way, shape or form. What I want is him and every other abuser in the world of pro wrestling behind bars for a very, very long time, with the key thrown away. Maybe occasionally slip them some food through the bars, but apart from that, that's what they deserve to be, is behind bars for the way they've treated people. I know who the mole is, but I'm not ready to reveal that yet. Here's a quick fire round given by Martin. So the quick fire round I've been given. Company of the year. Company of the year, I'd have to say, is probably still WWE. It's going to take a lot to change that, I think. Regardless of what I said about the product, I still think it's them. Storyline of the year, I would have to give to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. It's still ongoing. However, that was a very tough decision for me between that and the current Randy Orton and the Fiend storyline. Because I think the way that match went off the air at TLC, absolutely fantastic. Show of the year I'm going to have to give to Wrestle Kingdom. I think that's just something else. Match of the year. Now, match of the year, I've given this a lot of thought, and I know it's a quick fire, but that's a bit hard to judge, to be honest. I need a bit more time to think about that one. But definitely not entirely sure about that one. Tempted to say probably be one of the many Drew and Randy ones. Take your pick. Male Wrestler of the Year, Drew McIntyre. Hands down, Drew McIntyre. He's carried the company through he has carried the company through undoubtedly the worst period in any pro wrestling company's history. He's done it with flying colours. The fans are so behind him, even though they can't be there in person, they are 100% behind him, and it's great to see that from a man from the British Isles doing that. So 100% Drew McIntyre for Male Wrestler of the Year. Female Wrestler of the Year, that's a bit more difficult. I'd have to go with probably Asuka. Not just because she's the champion, I just think there's been a lot more about her this year than previous years, and I think definitely she is up there for Wrestler of the Year, Female Wrestler of the Year at least. Team of the Year. That's a bit more tricky. You're going to have to come back to me on that one. I know most of my answers are WWE based here, but this is just my personal opinion. Team of the Year, you'll have to come back to me on. I can't give you an answer on that one right now. Predictions for 2021 are going to be simple, really. I think Drew McIntyre will hold the title till WrestleMania. I think he will beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And then I think he'll drop it to The Fiend. So I think The Fiend is in for a WWE title run in 2021. I think Big E is going to have a lengthy Intercontinental title reign. And then by the end of 2021, I think Big E will be pushed into the main event picture. He thoroughly deserves it. I think Edge will come back. I think Jey Uso will win his first singles title, and I think it's going to be the Universal title. And I think 2021 you're going to see the Undisputed Era debut in the main roster. I think you will see New Japan continue to improve their product and just keep growing and growing and growing. I also think Ring of Honor will do exactly the same thing and just continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's exactly what you want from pro wrestling companies. You want them to grow. So that's my predictions for 2021. You may have heard my phone vibrate there. And if you did, that's Mr. Anderson getting back to me with the announcement he wants me to make since he is the host for show 1. The announcement he wants me to make is there is a second participant in the tournament, which I'm not entirely aware of because I've not named any other talents. There is one that I'm going to name, not today, but I will name him after the new year. But I'm not in a position to do that right now, so I don't know where he's getting this information from. But he says the second participant in the 8-man tournament is AJ Andrews, who he's this man that's been threatening me for the last year. And he's announcing that he's participating in the 8-man tournament. I have one thing to say to that. Over my dead body. No one like that's allowed in my show. I know it's a shorter episode than normal, but I hope you have enjoyed the CWF takeover of Headlocks and Headphones. Until next time.
Having to invade my own show. How ridiculous is that? This is still Headlocks and Headphones. I'm still Martin Anderson. Okay, yeah, everything's a bit flipped and I'm now the end of the show. But this has been the CWF special, the Headlocks and Headphones. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody who watched the Christmas special. Hope you enjoyed it. We had fun making it, even though it was meant to last 20 minutes. This one, a little bit closer to the special length that we had planned, 20-30 minutes. What I do want to say is a couple of things. Firstly, thank you to Murphy for actually contributing and doing a show. He actually met a deadline for once. Secondly, the announcement that was made during that, Murphy knew nothing about, but I was told by the mole that everything's in place for JJ Andrews to be part of the first CWF show. Hopefully we have more about that coming very soon. In addition to that, I do have a second competitor for the 8-man tournament, or at least I thought I did. The mole told me about somebody who had been booked for the first CWF show, and I was all ready to tell you exactly who it was. It was going to be the second person in the tournament, and then JJ's announcement came, and then I was told this man I was told was going to be in the tournament is now going to be in the main event of the show, just not in the tournament. He claims to be so good at his job and so handsome that he doesn't need a belt to make himself look any better. And let's just say he's going to take the attitude in CWF to the max.